Number 22 is asking you to simplify the expression. So what we need to do is distribute the 8 into both of these for this one, and the negative 2 into both of these for the second one. So 8 times 3 is 24, and 8 times t is 8t. Negative 2 times t is negative 2, and negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Okay, so then we have this. So now we need to combine our like terms. Our like terms are 24 and negative 4, and 8t and negative 2t. 8t minus 2t is 6t. 24 minus 4 is 20. So your answer is going to be 6t plus 20 for number 22. 23 is asking you to simplify the expression. We have a negative in front, which means we're going to distribute that into everything here. So basically we're changing all the signs. So we'll have negative m minus 5n plus 7 for your answer for number 23. Number 24 is asking you to determine if the given value is a solution to the equation. So it's asking if 3 is the solution to this equation. So what we need to do is substitute it in for x. So we take the x out and we replace it with 3. So then we'll have 4 times 3, which is 12, minus 7, which is 5. So 5 does equal 5. So that means x equals 3 is a solution to the equation. So number 24 should be yes. Number 25 is asking you to find the solution of the equation. Now, I'm not going to use a table. I'm going to use inverse operations to find a solution. So the first thing I like to do is, I know I'm trying to get a by itself. So that means I'm going to cover up the 7 and the a. I'm going to cover up that term. Now I noticed that in order to get that term by itself, I need to move this negative 12. Now what I need to look at is what that negative 12 is doing to that 7a. It is subtracting it. So to undo subtraction, we have to add. So we add 12 to both sides. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0, which leaves us with 7a equaling 28. So we still need to get that a by itself. So if I cover up the a, I notice there is a 7 next to it. Now what that 7 is doing to it when it's next to it is it's multiplying it. To move it, I got to do the opposite of multiplying, which is dividing. So I divide both sides by 7. 28 divided by 7 is 4, so a is going to equal 4 for number 25. Number 27, skipping to that, it is asking you to tell whether the equation has an ordered pair as a solution. Now the ordered pair is an x or a y coordinate, and the one it's asking about is 1, 7. Now 1 is x and 7 is y. Think of it in terms of the order of the alphabet. X comes before y, so the first number is x, the second is y. So what we need to do is substitute those in for x and y. So again, we said 1 is x and 7 is y. So we have 1 times 7, which is 7, and 7 does indeed equal 7, so it is a solution. So we're going to say, yes, 1, 7 is a solution to the given equation. That's number 27. Number 28 is asking you to solve the equation. We see 5 is next to the x, which means it's being multiplied. To get the x by itself, you got to do the opposite of that multiplying, which is divide. So we divide both sides by 5, and we get x equaling 23 over 5. Leave it as a fraction unless it says otherwise. We cannot reduce this fraction because there is no numbers other than 1 that we can divide into both of them. So leave your answer as 23 over 5 for number 28. Number 29 is asking you to solve the equation using addition or subtraction. So what we need to do is look at what's keeping the x from being by itself, which is at negative 6. When it's in the front, we got to do the opposite of what the sign says. The sign says negative, so we got to add. And also we do that because negative 6 is not being multiplied to x. If it was negative 6x, we would be dividing negative 6 on both sides. Since there's an addition sign there, we got to do either adding or subtracting. In this case, would be adding. So we add 6 to both sides, which gives us 10.6. So x is 10.6 for number 29. Number 30 is asking you to solve and check. So we see that in order for z to be by itself, this negative 3 has to be moved. To undo that minusing 3, we got to add 3. The opposite of subtraction is addition, so we add 3 to both sides. Negative 15 plus 3 is negative 12. So z is going to equal negative 12, so let's check it. Substitute in negative 12 in for z. We have negative 12 minus 3 equaling negative 15. Negative 12 minus 3 is negative 15, which does equal negative 15, so negative 12 does check as our answer for number 30. 31 is asking you to solve and check. So you have x over 6 equaling negative 6. So the thing that sticks out to me that's keeping x from being by itself is this 6. Since it is at the bottom of a fraction, it means it is dividing everything on top here, so 6 is dividing x. To undo that dividing, we got to multiply. So what I like to do is to cross the 6 out and bring it to the other side and multiply it to this negative 6. Now, we just rewrite everything that's not crossed out, which that is just x, and then negative 6 times 6 is negative 36. So we just write down what's left after we cross this out, and we multiply it to the other side, which is going to give you negative 36. Now let's check it. So we're going to substitute in negative 36 for x, so negative 36 over 6 set equal to negative 6. Negative 6 is what negative 36 divided by 6 equals, so negative 6 does equal negative 6, so this does check. So that is number 31. Let's go on to number 33. I like to rewrite this as 4s over 9. So 4 over 9s is the same as saying 4s over 9. It's just a way to rewrite it. So now what I do from there is I cross the 9 out and bring it to the other side and multiply it to 12. The reason why I multiply it to 12 is because 9 being at the bottom means it's being divided. And the opposite of dividing is multiplying. And 12 times 9 is 108. Now the 4 being next to the s means 4 is being multiplied to s. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I divide both sides by 4. 108 divided by 4 is 27. So my answer for 33 is going to be 27. So let's check that. So substituting in 27 in for s, I'll have 27 times 4 over 9, which gives me 12. And 12 does equal 12, so it does check. Okay, number 36. You're being asked to solve the equation. Notice how we have two fractions in here. 5 over 7 is being added to y. To get the y by itself, we need to subtract 5 over 7 to the other side. So we'll have 1 minus 5 over 7. To subtract fractions, we got to make the denominators the same. We can make them both 14. To make this 214, we multiply by 7. So multiplying top and bottom by 7, we get 7 over 14. To make this 714, multiply this by 12. Multiply top and bottom by 12, you'll get 10 over 14. So this will become 7 over 14 minus 10 over 14. When we subtract fractions, we simply subtract the numerators and just the numerators. So 7 minus 10 would be negative 3, so negative 3 over 14. Keep the denominators the same, so your answer is going to be negative 3 over 14 for number 36.